Hey, here we are on the Hump Day edition here of the Payoff Pitch. Thank you guys for joining me. Hump Day, that's right. Thank you guys so much for joining us here as we go through this entire baseball slate on this fine Wednesday. How's it going there, Hockey Squirrel?
Hey, not too bad. Split pretty much right down the middle yesterday. I just kept, I'd win one thing, and then I'd lose something, and then I'd win something, and I'd lose something. I just went 50-50 completely down the board. 50-50 for members as well. I had a 2-2 day, so maybe a little bit of juice loss, but not detrimental at all to the bankroll. So not too bad, really. Always either happy with, if I go even, if I make a little bit, I'm happy with that, man.
Well,
if I lose a little bit, I'm still happy with it.
And neither of us get bragging rights. How about that Tigers versus the Red Sox game, right? I was obviously on that F5 team total. They want to get the 3 runs, of course, in the 6th inning. And then, of course, in them getting those 6th innings, that completely wiped away your money line as that was the beginning of their comeback. Right. So thought one of us was going to have the upper leg and that one and be able to, strut around the show today and talk some smack. But I guess we'll both hide our tails and move on to the next one. But, hey, man, I appreciate you giving me that Astros winner. You said if you need a winner to bet those Astros, hell, I needed a winner come nightcap. That price fell down to minus 140. Do you believe that? Fell to minus 140.
So. No, I don't believe that. But, I mean, it was a win, it's not, I guess, how I thought they would win. What was it, 2-1? It was close, kind of sketch. I think even the end of that game came down to a guy on third with 2 outs. So a hit would have put us in a bad spot. Yeah, but I got it done either way. And
my bank account shows a win, so that's all that matters. So appreciate that right there. All right, so those are our opening thoughts. That's the quick hits in the first inning. Let's keep this show moving right along to the second inning, where we'll break down some games for you guys. Let's have the Hockey Squirrel kick it off with something that he's eyeing today and around the bases.
Sure. This one is actually kind of an interesting bet, and we're looking at a low total likely, right, with Oakland and Tampa Bay Rays at 7.5 with Frankie Montas and Shane McClanahan. So my thoughts immediately are like, well, I don't really like McClanahan. I do like Frankie Montas, and so I'm thinking first 5 innings for Oakland, and I kind of go back and forth on that, and I'm thinking, well, hey, if we have a low total expected already, and rather than taking a money line, what about a plus 1.5 run line on Oakland? Because then you're looking at the likelihood of a low-scoring game where maybe you get 2-3, you still win the bet, right? If it's 0-1, 1-2, whatever, you can lose by 1, still win the bet. You don't. Well, you still do have to worry about, I guess, overtime, or I always call it overtime, extra innings. I'm too used to hockey, and but you can either win the game or lose by 1. And for a minus 130, I don't think it's too bad given that pitcher. And we kind of think Oakland's not going to be too great this year. In the last couple of games, they haven't been too bad, at least in the bats. I don't think, anyway.
Yeah,
putting up some runs there. So.
Yeah, I mean, winners 2 of the last 3, and that loss yesterday was only by 1 run. So you would have obviously gotten the cash right there. So you're doing the Athletics on the run line at plus 1.5?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think it's a bad bet. I think it's something that maybe may go overlooked a little bit out there with everything else on the board today. So it's kind of a spot I thought was interesting to start the day off.
I like it right there. I'm going to go ahead and jump over to this Nationals versus Braves game. Boy, I like that Braves team total over 5. So obviously we do get the option there of a push with it being just 5, and you can get that at minus 110. The Nationals are going to go ahead and throw Josiah Gray on the mound. Boy, was he roughed up in his season opener. Struggled, really, just against those Mets. 4 innings pitch, 8 hits, gave up 4 runs, gave up a home run. I'm expecting him to struggle. And then there's not a whole lot of relief in that Nationals bullpen. Currently sitting 29th in opponents' batting average at 282. Currently sitting 29th in WHIP at 1.7. 24th in FIP at 4.53. And they rank 26th in walks per 9. Does that bullpen, allowing 5.20 walks every 9 innings. So I don't expect Josiah Gray to have a great outing. Expect him to get roughed up by those Atlanta Braves bats that obviously came to life last night. And again, they're not going to be much relief coming out of that bullpen so far this season for the Nationals. So go ahead and give me that Braves team total. And this is a Braves team that, go ahead and look across the board. You know, they're sitting top 10 in a lot of offensive stats, even second in on-base percentage. So I'll take that Braves offense against the struggling pitching staff as a whole. So Braves team total over 5 runs with the option to push at -110 for me. What's another game you're eyeing there, Squirrel?
Yeah, it does seem like a lot, but I do think you hit that one, to be honest with you. I'm looking at, once again, going back into the Boston Red Sox and Detroit Tigers game. I'm not on Detroit this time, though. I will take the Red Sox. It's a matchup we've seen a few times now. The players have seen each other, maybe not particularly these pitchers, but you know, the first game of the series obviously was where Boston was coming off that Yankees game, and I was on the Tigers, and I guess I did the first 5 and pushed there, but they ended up going on to win the game. And you know, as I think Boston's a little bit more comfortable now, they've been there a few days. I think quite obviously the batting order is stronger there. I like Eovaldi, and I think Rodriguez isn't quite as good in the numbers. Let me take a quick look. So yeah, last year still a ton of innings pitched. You know, respectable, I guess. I mean, decent, but not elite by any means. I mean, not a DeGrom or anything. And I just feel like -130 or 135, I think, around there. A little bit low for the Red Sox, for, again, what I'm trying to lean towards this season that I didn't last year as much. I don't want to put all the emphasis solely on the pitching, because as we saw, I think 2 nights ago or 2 afternoons ago with the Milwaukee Brewers, if you don't have reliable offense, it's hard to win a game, right? And that's one of the reasons I've been on the Astros so much, and I've gone 4-0 on the Astros so far. It's because I just really trust in the bats, and I feel the same with the Red Sox here for a -130. I just don't think that's a huge price to pay.
Yeah, and then I think you get actually an inside advantage, so to speak, there, because Rodriguez was obviously a staff member there of the Red Sox last year, and while you can say, well, he understands the hitters, I think it's a lot more of an advantage if the hitters can understand the pitcher and really kind of know what's coming. So I think the Red Sox battle get a big advantage. Yep, I'm with you. Eovaldi is certainly the better pitcher, so like the Red Sox right there. I'm going to go ahead and jump over to that Astros versus Diamondbacks. You've been pushing the right buttons there with the Astros. Today I like their team total over 5 runs. So once again, we can get a push, but this time we're going to get it at plus money, plus 104 for the Astros team total over 5. You got Merrill Kelly, obviously coming off a good outing in his season debut against the Padres, but I'm not going to put a lot of stock into that. That was a guy that we were able to fade a lot last season to a lot of success in cashes. So I think he's more that guy at 2021, 266 opponent's batting average with a 7.4 K per 9. So you can see right there, he's not swinging and missing guys, and guys are able to get some contact. And Astros offense that may be sitting mid-table right now in a lot of the stats, obviously I think that's only going to come up as the season progresses. So give me that nice Astros bullpen up against Merrill Kelly, or give me the Astros offense there against Merrill Kelly, and then that Diamondbacks bullpen as well. If they haven't quite gotten the damage done against Kelly, that's another bullpen like the Nationals that is towards the bottom, 28th in opponent's batting average, 23rd in WHIP, and 16th in FIP. So not getting a lot of relief when you're done with Merrill Kelly. So I'll go ahead and take those Astros team total over 5, get that option of push, and we'll snag that one at plus money at plus 104. All
Perfect,
right, let's move it over now to shut up and pitch. Let's give these guys some pitching props. Who are you eyeing today?
So I have a very interesting one. I'm going to go ahead and attack Garrett Cole, as really after that whole thing, as we talked about even last week, I think, with the whole sticky substance ordeal last year that we talked about a little bit, Cole dropped off a lot to me. I thought it was very weird. He all of a sudden started not pitching quite as well after that. Obviously the spin rates were an issue last year where, they were getting ridiculous spin rates, and that was kind of the reasoning, I think, for banning that sticky substance stuff. and every time he comes up and the Yankees are playing and it's Garrett Cole, the odds do what? They shoot way up, right? And I don't know. I mean, I guess it's how far do you expect him to go in this game? His first game, he pitched 4 innings. If we can see 5 to 6 out of him, what I thought was a very interesting prop was over 1.5 walks by Garrett Cole, and that's plus 110. You're getting plus money, and he only has to walk 2 people. And I just don't think he's as good as people make him out to be. Personally, I just don't really see it. Maybe at one time, but I think we still have yet to see how he continues on after last year and the banning of the substances and the whole but for plus money, yeah. I'll see hopefully he allows 2 walks.
Yeah, I mean, certainly a guy that's been struggling. So over 1.5 walks at plus money, I like that right there. I'm going to go ahead and jump on Corbin Burnes. I know you were on him in his season opener. I like Corbin Burnes over 6.5 Ks at minus 130. We're getting a 1K reduction from his season opener. Obviously, bookmakers said, okay, he struggled. Let's knock him down 1. But I don't think that's quite fair to do that off of 1 result. But what I really like here is this Baltimore Orioles offense. They lead the major league in strikeouts. They have 58 strikeouts. They're averaging a strikeout every 2.8 plate appearances. So over the course of the game, in terms of if you project Burnes to go about 6 innings, that should get you about 6.4 Ks. So you're right on the number at 6.5. A team that's heavy on strikeouts, Corbin Burnes on a nice little bounce back. I'll take that, even though the numbers fall bang on kind of at this 6.5, but I like it. So I'll go ahead and back Corbin Burnes in a nice spot here against an offense that is obviously swinging and missing early to begin the season. So over 6.5 Ks for me at minus 130.
Funny enough, I'm going exactly on the opposite. I'm taking John Means of the Baltimore Orioles to go over 4.5 strikeouts. It's not quite as many Ks needed to hit, and it's minus 130. It's a little bit of juice, but again, if there's going to be a pitcher from the Orioles that I'm going to back to do this, it's going to be John Means. And the Brewers offense, I think, has just as equally struggled, maybe if not so much in the strikeout department as the Baltimore Orioles, which I think last time I looked a day or two ago, Orioles were the heaviest strikeout team currently through the first 4 or 5 games. But, I just really kind of been left with a bad taste in my mouth from the Brewers offense. And I think John Means can come out to a strong start today. And I don't mind it. So we need 5 strikeouts to win that one at over 4.5 minus 130 for John Means on the Baltimore Orioles.
Yeah, definitely an offense that obviously struggled there against the Cubs in the opening series. So like that angle right there. I'm going to go ahead and do your walks angle that you just provided there. But I like it for Zach Thompson of the Pirates. So we'll do Zach Thompson of the Pirates over 1.5 walks allowed. Get that one at plus 115. Last season, he averaged 1 walk every 2.6 innings. The Cubs on this season are averaging a walk every 6.5 plate appearances. So if we get 4 or 5 innings out of this guy, I think in that process he'll pick up 2 walks. He's making his season debut. So maybe he's not going to be as sharp on the bump, and that'll give us a couple extra walks maybe in our favor. So the numbers line up with this one. You're going to go ahead and give me this one at plus money at plus 115. So I like that one. So we'll do Zach Thompson there of the Pirates over 1.5 walks allowed at plus 115. Like that one right there. All right.
And that's going to go along there with our friend Degent Woodworker in the chat asking about the Cubs' first 5 money line. I saw you responded to that. But yeah, I don't mind that either. That's a decent bet, I think.
Yep. All right. What third inning here? We call it long shot. Or no, fourth inning. Fourth inning. We'll call it. It's baseball. The games are long. Sometimes you forget which inning you're in. But the fourth inning is what we call the long shots. We'll try and put some plus money winners in these people's pockets. I'll kick it off first here. Oh boy, what are the Mets doing at even money against those Phillies? Yeah, you got Scherzer on the mound against Nola. I'll gladly go ahead and take the better pitcher there in Max Scherzer. And then if we look at projected lineups today against these starters, the Mets have 5 projected starters that career's batting average is 300 or greater against Aaron Nola. Those 5 batters are Alonso, Nimmo, Lindor, Marte, and Escobar. All those guys are batting 300 in their career against Nola. On the flip side, the Phillies only going to run out there one guy that has a career batting average of 300 over Max Scherzer. So I love Max Scherzer obviously a lot. Got no problem getting behind him. And if you're going to give me Max Scherzer at even money, I certainly like that. So I like that. I also like the Blue Jays. I liked your angle of fading Garrett Cole. I also maybe like the Athletics. I thought you were on a good spot there, but give me Scherzer. Give me Scherzer at even money.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that, and I have something to say about that in another couple innings here, so we'll get there. I'm going to roll with a bigger plus money bet. I think really the best long shot, if we want to say that you're going to go for a big underdog, I think the Baltimore Orioles straight up on the money line at a plus 150 with John Means. We saw Corbin Burns again. Year to year, you just never know what you're going to get from certain guys. And the expectation is that Corbin Burns is really good. He did struggle, though, however. I think he gave up 3 runs in 4 innings, something like that, to the Cubs. I certainly wasn't real impressed, had props on him. And again, you can't read too much into it, being that it's only one game and it's a hell of a long season. But I think John Means is a great matchup. You get Baltimore Orioles at home and still some great bats in that lineup nonetheless with Mountcastle and Mancini, etc. So, for plus 150, I don't mind it. Like, the money is not on it. I don't expect the public to be on it at all. I just think a little bit of a sneaky play at some really nice underdog odds, being plus 150. You win a unit and a half for year one.
Yeah, I mean, and you get ace on ace. If you actually look at some offensive stats, the Orioles are doing it better, obviously, than those Brewers, as you were kind of fading them earlier on. So, all right, Orioles will be your long shot. All right, 5th inning. We got to give these people some batter props. I'll kick it off right here. I'm going Victor Robles. There are the Washington Nationals. Look, against today's starter, Fried, he's 8 for 9 with 7 singles, so maybe he's not going to bring a lot of power. But I think he can get at least 1 hit, and you can get that prop right now over 0.5 hits at minus 120. So, yeah, 8 for 19. A lot of success against today's starter there in Fried. So, Victor Robles is how I'll kick it off for one batter prop. How about for you?
I was just answering the chat there. I have only one batter prop, and it's nice that you bring up that great batting average, I guess, against Aaron Nola, as I was looking at Pete Alonso. And I was looking at, well, do I just want him to get a hit? I don't want to pay the juice. And then I'm looking at, well, maybe, kind of expect him to like go deep and hit a home run, but how often does that happen? So I guess I'm going to go with over 1.5 total bases on Pete Alonso of the New York Mets. And that's plus 115 still. So you're still getting plus money. If he does happen to go deep and crushes a long ball, well, then, a home run's 4 bases anyway. You cash the prop no matter what. You just don't get plus 300 on it or whatever. But again, with plus 300, like, what are your implied odds of hitting that? Again, it's almost like cashing a damn parlay in a way. It's like to have that guy go deep in that game, and you're talking how many at-bats do they have in a game? 4, maybe 3, 4, like, good luck. So I'll take a little bit of a safer bet there and go over 1.5 total bases at plus 115 for Pete Alonso.
All right, Pete Alonso. Let's hope he can do some damage and hopefully cash that plus 100 there on the long shot as well. I'm going to just run through some other guys, and the sports books are, I guess, kind of slow for whatever reason, coming out with some batting props. So kind of hit you guys with some guys that I kind of have on my radar, and then we'll see what kind of the numbers fall out, and then maybe send out a tweet a little bit later this afternoon. But in terms of fading some guys, let's go look at some guys that maybe it's a good spot to fade. You got Hoskins there, the Phillies, Rhys Hoskins. He's only 1 for 23 against Max Scherzer. 1 for 23 with 12 Ks. So maybe look to fade him. Joey Gallo there, the Yankees, 1 for 12 with 6 Ks. Willie Adames there, the Brewers. He's only 1 for 12 with 4 Ks. Matt Chapman there, he's only 4 for 20 with 10 Ks. So maybe some guys that are struggling, that maybe once we see what the number is with these sports books, maybe we'll fade one of these guys to. And I think I would maybe take your angle yesterday of maybe the under 1.5 total bases, as opposed to maybe the under 0.5 hits. But again, we'll just see what the numbers come in at. But those are a couple guys that I've got my eye on to maybe be a little bit of a stinker today. Do you have another guy with the bat in his hand to do any damage or not do damage, I guess?
No, I only came up with just the one batting prop for the day. with being a Pete Alonso, but I do have quite the steal. So
Steal. All right, well, hit me with it. Sixth inning. It's a steal. What's a steal for you?
New York Mets. It's a steal. It's a steal, New York Mets. I will absolutely gladly hop on at even money. I think it might be minus 110 now. It's still a great deal. Like you said, Max Scherzer against Aaron Nola, I give that edge for sure to Scherzer. And, again, you just have a lineup that can get it done. And for those four guys you already mentioned, the fact that I already took Pete Alonso, we're stacking up here on the Mets, and the money distribution's going absolutely crazy for the New York Mets. 70% of bets, 80% of money. There's steam movement on there, and the line would be moving the right way then if you also went from plus 100 to minus 110. As we get closer to game time, we're only an hour away, so I don't know how much more movement I would necessarily expect, but that line, to me, personally, is way too low, and I think a lot of other people are seeing the same thing, at least for other cappers that I talk to and whatnot. It's just kind of the play for the afternoon here, the early afternoon, that is.
Yeah, I love that spot right there. So, all right, so the Mets for you is a steal. For me today, for a steal, I've got two bets for it's a steal, and the reason I'm calling these a steal is because it's a NRFI. We're just going to slide in, take these sportsbooks money before they even know it happened, and just take their money, right? Even know it. So not going to be one that you guys are thinking of, right? Everybody's thinking NRFI, maybe in that Mets game, maybe in that Phillies game. I got a different NRFI. I'm going to go ahead and do Athletics versus Rays as one of my NRFI at minus 135. You've kind of talked about this pitching matchup there in Montas versus Clanahan. I don't feel like I really need to regurgitate the same information for McClanahan because we already cashed a NRFI and his season opener against the Orioles, so you guys know about him from last week's show. There for Montas, though, while he did give up a run in his season opener against the Phillies, that's a really stinking good lineup, especially once they add Castellanos. Boy, did that lineup just get really that much deeper. So Rays do have a good lineup, but I don't think as good as the Phillies. And then Montas was decent in the first inning last season. He had 38 Ks in 32 innings pitched, so he can definitely wiggle out of some trouble. He gave up 11 runs. And if you just look at the F3, look at the F5, you kind of talked about the full game. I mean, everything's low, right? I mean, the F5 is under 3.5 runs.
Oh, yeah.
This game just breeds low scoring. So I'll go ahead and take the NRFI in Athletics versus Rays at minus 135 as one of my first steals. And then for my second steal, again, it's a NRFI. I like it in that Brewers-Orioles game, and you can get this one at minus 130. Don't really need to talk about John Means a lot because we cashed his first start, which was actually the start he was opposed against McClanahan, and that's the NRFI we cashed last week. So save you the information on Means. We already know about him. And for Burns, he was clean in his opener against the Cubs. Maybe he didn't have the greatest of all outings, but he came out and he did outstanding in that first inning against the Cubs. And the Orioles have even yet to score in the first inning. The Brewers are really only averaging 0.4 runs in the first inning. So I like these two guys, Burns and Means, to keep the offenses quiet in the first inning. So two NRFIs. That one, Brewers-Orioles at minus 130. Then Athletics Rays at minus 130 will be two steals. You'll have your money before the sports books even know it. All right, coming to a stretch, seventh inning. We got to give these people our best bet of the day. Lots of bets can be available on the board, but there's only one best bet. What is it going to be for you today?
Well, I guess if we wanted to call it a steal, speaking of a steal, I think a Hockey Squirrel membership is a steal at $60 a month where you get those early lines, and I will send you out emails, written analysis, and everything. I gave out an early line that I liked, at least, on the Houston Astros, yet once again, yes, we're 4-0 already on the Astros so far. I think you had already talked about that today, didn't you, on the Astros?
Yep.
Against Merrill Kelly. I love Framber Valdez, and I think that line's already gone to minus 160. So I'm beating that line already, and I didn't really understand, I guess, the difference between the money line and the run and a half, the 1.5 run line, being 50 cents difference. Where if you look at a lot of other games, some of these games, I mean, you're getting 70 to 90 or 100 points difference between the money line and the run line. I've read some articles, I've talked to people. I think that the run line is also a fine choice. I just would like to not have to win by 2. I think especially in professional sports and especially in sports where the games are a little bit lower scoring, which obviously hockey tends to be, but baseball for the majority of the time. I mean, you get some crazy outliers of a 17-3 game or something like that, but I just like to play it a little bit safer, and I don't mind it at minus 150, but I really wouldn't go over that. So my best bet is something that I don't think you can really totally get anymore, but that's still going to be my best bet for the day, is the Houston Astros early line at minus 150.
All right, let's go Astros, and let's get 6 runs in that process, too, and cash my team total for my best bet. Well, it's already been scrolled through in the chat, folks. If you've been paying attention in the chat, you saw my best bet. I am on that Cubs F5 money line at minus 110. This is a two-way line, so you can get a push. So it's the Cubs F5 money line at minus 110. Two-way line, so we can get a push. Boy, what's there not to like about this? You're giving me the better offense in the Cubs. Hendricks was really good in his opening starter there against the Brewers, and you're getting this guy Thompson on his season debut. Kind of already talked about him and what I believe his struggles will be today overall. Then his struggles will be today against that Cubs offense. So, yep. Cubs F5 money line, two-way line, minus 110. Boy, I think we're getting a great bet right there. Let's see if these Cubs can't continue their nice start to the season. So that'll be my best bet of the day right there. For safe and out, we normally guide you guys through some sportsbooks promotions. I didn't see anything on any sportsbooks for promotions-wise, so I think we can skip that unless you saw something. I didn't see anything.
No, the only thing I keep finding on, I guess, if I'm looking at daily specials or whatnot, is something that's kind of like the grand salami bets, and I think they're kind of interesting. Like the other day we had over or under 114.5. Today is over under 104.5. Went largely under the other day when I asked you the same question. I kind of feel like it would go over today. I just feel like it's a day for runs a little bit for me, but I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I just don't feel like there's a lot of what do you call them? Yeah, I mean, they call them like daily specials or whatever, but normally I'll find things like a New York parlay where the Yankees and the Mets are both going to win or something. Like, no.
They're just tugging at people's hearts right there. Homers right there. All right, let's give these people our best bets of the day, which we'll do something a little bit new today. I've heard from you guys and continue putting out. I mean, obviously you guys are throwing out comments about games and stuff, but if you also have any comments about the show, heard from a few of you. Here are our best bets. Let's go ahead and throw them up on the show, or throw them up here up on the screen so everybody can see them. What are yours? Want to run through yours first?
Yeah, sure. So I'm going to absolutely roll with that steal of the New York Mets, the minus 110 price point. I will take a long shot underdog play with John Means and the Baltimore Orioles at plus 150. And, just to back them up a little bit, I will go over 4.5 strikeouts for John Means. And then with my seventh inning best bet is a price point that you can't necessarily get anymore with the Houston Astros, I don't believe. But if you do find it around minus 150, it's something that I'm liking. So,
yeah, I mean, and watch that line. I think yesterday when you gave out the Astros, it was around minus 150. And then I mentioned whenever I sent out a tweet and jumped on it, it got down to minus 140. So maybe watch for more Astros line movement a little bit later on this evening. I got a few bets. I did again. Cubs F5 money line, minus 110, two-way line. So you can go ahead and get a push if they're unable to win and be in the tie. Braves team total over 5 runs at minus 110. Corbin Burns over 6.5 strikeouts at minus 130. Zach Thompson there of the Pirates over 1.5 walks at plus 115. Astros team total over 5 runs at plus 104. And then 2 NRFIs, Athletics Rays at minus 135. Brewers Orioles at minus 130 will round out my bets. Maybe I add one of those hitting props to it. We'll have to just see what the numbers come in at. But if now I'm comfortable riding with those and helping everybody put money in their pocket on a good Wednesday. So that's how we'll roll today. Any other closing thoughts, or should we just sit back and watch the We're getting day baseball. Did baseball, by the way, this labor deal, did they sign some deal? Like we have to have day games every day? Because I love it. You used to have to wait till 6 p.m. on like a Tuesday or a Wednesday or even on a Thursday. These midweek days, Tuesday to Thursday, used to never get day games like this. I love it. Absolutely love it.
Absolutely.
All right, well, let's enjoy the action. Lots of great comments. Thank you guys, everyone. Let's have fun tailing these bets, cashing. Hit that like button on your way out, and we'll see you back here tomorrow on the payoff pitch. Have a good one, everybody.
See you later, buddy.